I was born here.
My son was born at the hospital.
My brother was born here.
The children who live on our street.
My grandchildren were born here.
My brother was born here.
I was born at Milford Hospital not too long ago.
And my sister was born here.
I know many people who were born here.
My husband's mother was born here, and my grandchildren have been born here. So we have 4 generations of people that were born at Milford Hospital.
This medical center is not just made of buildings. Milford Regional is part of the fabric of this community. In 1903, when the doors first opened, no one could have foreseen the importance of Milford Hospital in the lives of people who live here.
And maybe to have medical care for people in the community. Perhaps that is why great-grandfather Draper, way back when, gave the original gift to the community.
In December of 1905, a training school for nurses opened at the hospital with 6 students, and Mrs. Eben Draper donated an adjacent house to serve as a nurse's home.
My mom went to nursing school here. She graduated in 1942, and she felt like she was very fortunate to get such a wonderful degree from the Milford Hospital right across the street from her.
Throughout the decades, members of the community have always been a vital part of Milford Regional.
The volunteers have been a big part of the hospital. Didn't they call them the Pink Ladies? Because they wore the pink smocks. Well, my mother was also a Pink Lady and a volunteer of the hospital, with the Marge Hortons, with the Nancy Gannets.
I got involved with the hospital in 1941. And we folded bandages and we raised money for the linen, was the main thing in those days.
From the 1940s to the 1960s, the hospital continued its tradition of service to the Milford community. In 1952, 691 babies were born at Milford Hospital. And in 1956, hospital services continued to grow with the construction of a building for pediatrics and dietary. In 1964, the new Milford Hospital emerged with the grand opening of a magnificent 5-story addition.
The facility, of course, has changed remarkably. It was very much a very simple community hospital.
The 1970s and 80s were decades of growth for Milford Hospital. 1972 saw a $2.7 million expansion of the north side of the building. In 1974, Milford Hospital merged with Whitensville Hospital, and on October 13, 1976, a satellite outpatient facility opened in Franklin.
In 1981, when I first started, I was an IV nurse working the 3 to 11, 11 to 7 shift. On 11 to 7, in order to get into the emergency room, you had to hit the doorbell on the outside. It rang inside enough for someone on the staff to go down and open the door for them to come in. That changed when the new Gannet wing went up.
My first thought was, I guess from a family standpoint, what a nice honor it was for Uncle Jack, and to honor him for all his years of service, and that it was a way to enlarge the facility, enlarge the services for Milford Regional.
When we moved from the old ICU into the new ICU, I was actually there that day, and we moved patients, and it was so exciting. We went from a very small 3-room ICU to this beautiful 10-room ICU, and it was just such an exciting day.
When you walk down those halls into the Gannet wing, it was just a vision.
You know, you could see it over even the 25 years or so that I've been affiliated with the institution. We really thought we could develop an outpatient center, and we did, and that was in the early 90s, and then we went on from there to say, gee, we really need new ORs and an expanded patient care center, and we thought we could do that, and we said, gee, I think we can, and we actually did climb that mountain and did it. And
the one project that really sort of floored me when Mom and Dad were talking about, Mom in particular, was when they added the cancer center out here. You'd think you'd have to go to Boston or some big city to get it, where you don't. It's right here now.
When I see patients in our community that can have their radiation and their chemotherapy done at Milford Hospital, it brings so much happiness and joy to me. Because my mother had cancer back in the early 80s, and I can remember We used to drive to Boston every day. We left at 6:30 in the morning, and we didn't get home till 5 o'clock.
A woman had come up to me who actually had been a patient at the cancer center. And she said to me, "Do you know how far away from my house the cancer center is for my treatment?" And I said, "I have no idea." She said, "I'm one song ride away from my home."
This is the bedroom. This is where people live. And to make the hospital the strongest place around is important.
And when you look at hospitals, it's many of the big moments in our lives that hospitals are involved with. They're part of our beginnings, they're part of our endings, and they're often the punctuation in between.
Milford Regional Medical Center is vital to the lives of the people in this community. And it's people like Bill and Nancy Gannett whose commitment helps this medical center flourish. Tonight, we would like to honor the Gannetts for their leadership, friendship, and generosity.
I think the Milford Medical Center's story is one of perseverance and self-reliance. And the reason we're here today, even to talk about this, is about the Gannetts.
I don't think you'll find anybody who's given more time and effort than Nancy and Bill, and certainly the whole Gannett family.
I'm very, very proud to say that we are friends of Bill and Nancy. My mother and dad were very fortunate to be friends of Bill and Nancy. And this community has been very fortunate to have Bill and Nancy a part of it.
Mom and Dad, all the hard work, all the dedication you've had for years and years, now you can sit home and relax, and you don't have to read through all the materials, and you don't have to come to meetings anymore. When we call you, we'll know that we can get you now, instead of having the phone ring and then finding out the next night, "Oh no, we were at a hospital board meeting."
Nancy and Bill, I'm so thrilled to be here on this night of your special honor. And I'm so grateful, I'm forever grateful for your friendship.
Bill and Nancy, you have meant a lot to this hospital and to the community, and you've meant a lot to us, and we love you.